Big Dunk, and in today's video I'm gonna learn you guys how I personally keep my bong so clean and so crispy and so pristine. As you can see, it went from looking like this to looking like this.
Oh, yup, spotless.
So I'm gonna run you through the process a little bit, tell you about maybe some tips that I have, stuff you might need to get that I think will make it cleaner, and then I'm gonna go in, take a little rip. Yeah. So let's get into it. Number one, of course, you're going to need a bong to be cleaned. This is already cleaned. I'm going to have to clean it after. But I figured, I'll just show this demo here. It's a lot easier for me to film in here than if I were to try to prop up a phone in the bathroom and show you me actually cleaning it. So I'm just going to symbolize that for now. To clean it out, I got some 99% isopropyl alcohol. You can just cop this online, buy it to your door. I do recommend that you have at least 90%, like the 70% stuff, like that you get for first aid. Just doesn't really cut it as far as cleaning out all the gunk and grime. You're going to want some Q-tips. Doesn't have to be this brand. I just have these lying around because, I have them for my Carta, and they're pretty good at, getting up all the resin. Got this nice little pokey tip too to get into some angles. And then finally, next piece I got this pretty recently. I remember in the last video I made where I even talked about cleaning a bong, my most popular video, in the beginning I talked about that, and I showed the salt method. That didn't really work, as you can see, because it did have all that grime still up there. So this is a new thing I got. On this side you got a little brush thing that you can Velcro on. You got a magnet here, so pretty much drop that in there, take the magnet thing, swirl it around, bam, bam, bam. But let me just run you through my full process that I do. So, number one, first and foremost, after I smoke, before I even get the ISO, before I get the Q-tips out, I take the bowl, get some warm water running in the sink, just rinse it out, really make sure I get off all like the flour particles up here. It does get some of the resin out from there. Up next, I take the down stem, do the same thing, run it under the warm water. It usually gets out a pretty good amount of the gunk. And then I take this, again, warm water, put it in, and I don't have any plugs. Like, you can buy some plugs for your bong, but like, just thumb it, palm it, shake it, just go a little crazy with it. That gets off a good bit of like the actual chunks, if you got flour that pulls through. Any ash, that'll get it out. Of course, it's not going to deal with the resin, but I just do that so the isopropyl can just deal with only the stuff that's stuck there. So up next, what I do is I get one of the Q-tips. I just open up the isopropyl, get that nice and wet, give it a little swab on both sides, and then I take one of these pointy guys, and you really want to get it like in that in-between area, because that's where a lot of resin buildup can be, and it's kind of hard to get, so that's why these Q-tips are nice. Jam it in there, get all that out, rinse it off with warm water after, just because you don't want any residual alcohol. Lay that to the side. Up next, I would just, put that in there. Pour a little bit of isopropyl in there. Now, you don't really need to use too much, to be quite honest. I usually just want to make sure I have at least like enough to fully cover the bottom, of course, just so when I'm going through to shake it round two, there's enough getting around. It's not like, a sparing amount. Another big thing, this is also dependent on the type of bong you have, is that you see right there, it's got the little slits. I like to keep one slit up, one slit down when I put it in, just so when I'm shaking it around, I can make sure I get some isopropyl that goes actually up into the down stem, cleans off all that grime. After a good little bit of shaking, I take out the down stem, give it a little rinse with some warm water, Q-tip off both inside and outside. You'll get it looking nice and fresh, and then I lay that to the side. And then finally, I still have some of the isopropyl in there. You drop that right in there. Let it soak in the isopropyl for a bit. You want that scrubber to be nice and alcohol. And then you just kind of rub it around. Now this thing, it is a little hard to get some of these parts, where they have these little indents here, or by the where the down stem goes, but like, you just got to work it around. You got to get it going. And also, I don't have the box for this thing, threw that out, so I'll just put the link to this in the description. But it is a Boro Buddy Mini is what it's called. I'll put that on screen, you can't see that, but just give it a nice little movement. And then after that, if there's still a bit of residue, what I did last time worked perfectly. Add a little bit of warm water to the isopropyl, give that a nice little shake, get some suds going. Again, drop it in, give it the nice little clean around, and then dump it out. Rinse off with warm water. You don't want any residual alcohol in there, of course. But, warm water will burn that off. Then boom, it's looking spotless. I've had this thing for almost about a year, and aside from like maybe a couple splotches back here, because it is hard to get them, you can't see it on camera. It's just like a little bit of cracking around here because I'm kind of rough with this thing. But hasn't broken yet. Can toss it around. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope I learned you how I clean my bong. Again, as I said, you could use the salt method. I've had varying levels of success with that. If it's, you know, some fresh grime, you were just smoking it like back-to-back bowls and it built up, you put the salt in with isopropyl, it's going to work. But if you kind of let the grime set in, the salt's not going to do that good of a job from my experience in changing that. So that's where this little guy comes in right there. But yeah, it definitely is very important to clean your bong, and I've been keeping this thing very clean. Every time I want to use it up here, I got to clean it after because I don't want it to boof. So yeah, this thing's been getting a lot of good cleanliness, and it's good to do. And even if you don't clean your bong every day, after each use, change the water. Change the water. That'll A, keep your bong a lot cleaner. B, make it taste a lot better. And C, you're not inhaling any mold, any like old fucking particles that are floating around in the water, all that. You don't want that. So it is important if you want to be smoking out here to be smoking nice, to be smoking pristine. You don't want to have any buildup and gunk and all that shit because that'll go into your lungs, you know. It's already bad enough that I'm putting smoke into my lungs. Why put like mold particles, ash particles, dust, all that shit in there? At least it could be out of some clean, nice, fresh looking glass. And just look at that, you know, I can actually like post this. Like, I would be ashamed if I posted a video with some dirty ass bong. If you pull up to the sesh with a dirty ass bong, usually like I'm a pretty accepting person, you know. I may not like blunts, but you know, I get people like it. But if you're smoking out of a dirty bong, you're getting laughed out of there. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not touching that. Without further ado, let me fire up the shower. Audio is gonna suck, I'm sorry, but that's how the bong rips go. We'll take a nice little bowl, and I'll be on my way. Again, sorry about the audio. It's always fucked in here, but nice little bowl pack, pristine looking bong. But cheers, let's make it dirty. And just look at how crusty it gets after one bowl. One bowl. So if you're not cleaning it like really consistently, imagine the buildup then. Thank you so much for watching though. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. Big dunk. See you soon. Peace.